So, sometimes we hear stories like the rich marrying the poor, but if there is a real story about the princess marrying a commoner, it might seem like they married for love. But the poor or the commoner might often be accused of wanting to marry her just because of her wealth, not because of love. Actually, stories like this have happened in the real world and happened in Japan. The most interesting story is in 2021, which is the love story of Princess Meiko, a princess from Japan who married Kei Komuro, a commoner in Japan. To the point that Princess Meiko was released from the Japanese royal family in order to marry the man, and her name was deleted from the family card or the Japanese royal family tree. Maybe you could say her name has disappeared and this is the story. And is it true that they get a happy ending like in fairy tales? In short, Princess Meiko is one of the princesses in Japan who, of course, even though she is not a direct heir to the emperor, but she is still a pure blue blood, and her love story began during her college days where she met or got acquainted with a man named Kei Komuro, who was often considered and even hated by all of Japan from the monthly media because it was thought that he approached Princess Meiko because of her wealth. Plus there is also a fact where his family often borrowed money from Princess Meiko. So indeed, if seen from the eyes of the media, of course this is a loophole to blame him a lot. We can imagine Japanese people will commit suicide, let alone be bullied all over Japan because of that. But what is very interesting here, this man is a gigachad. You could say he actually wants to prove that it is wrong. He really is because of love, and he works hard finally until he finishes his studies. He successfully becomes a successful lawyer right before marrying Princess Meiko. Finally he proves to the world that he restores his self-esteem, which had previously been rumored to badmouth his family to borrow money, and finally he pays off all his family's debts. And finally Princess Meiko saw Kei Komuro's determination, which finally made her determination, until finally they decided to get married. Princess Meiko was willing to step down from her position as a princess in order to marry Kei Komuro, and they got married on October 26, 2021, meaning it had been more than 4 years since they got married, and Princess Meiko was no longer Princess Meiko but only became someone named Meiko Komuro, and they decided to move to America, more precisely to New York, to start a new life because basically they are educated people, where Kei Komuro is also a lawyer in Japan and Princess Meiko also works. The latest news said Meiko Komuro worked as a Japanese art historian at an art museum in America. While for Kei Komuro himself, he works as a paralegal, a kind of lawyer who has not yet received their lawyer's license but can help as a lawyer's assistant. So indeed their current life is not bathed in wealth anymore, especially Princess Meiko, who became a Japanese art historian, meaning they are husband and wife working together, meaning they are building their family together. But you could say they are happy because Princess Meiko's last statement also said she was happy with her current life, so you could say this is a happy ending for them. Even if it is made into a movie or a live-action film, it will definitely be exciting if someone does it. And I really salute Kei Komuro, who really fights for Princess Meiko. He also managed to restore his family's honor by paying off all his family's loans that they might have borrowed, and even though he was bullied by almost all of Japan, he finally fights and finally they get their happy ending, even though they have to leave Japan and now they live in America. And that's what I can discuss. So what do you think? Please write in the comments, and that's all for now until we meet again in another video.
Guru, 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 Guru.